All right. A warning to voters. A warning. A warning. Blue versus red. And all of the acrimony and bitterness and rage and frustration. This is the most toxic and unhealthy atmosphere, politically speaking, and then also just culturally speaking. The culture is awash in mediocrity right now. Pop stars and sports people and the whole thing is collapsing. The whole thing. All right. I decided to be more libertarian a few weeks ago, and now I'm being yelled at by anarchists, basically, that you libertarians, you just want to dump all these people into the ocean or something. Just stupid crap. And I'm like, no, there are probably really good solutions that we could do to help people that involved, yes, companies and organizations, people that, yeah, maybe it's not a nonprofit that does it. In every hard leftist city in this country, there is rampant homelessness and drug abuse. And you can go down the list of things, and they don't have any solutions to these problems. They enable. This is what they do. They're enablers. It's, again, like a drug abuser, and we're just going to give you more drugs because, hey, at least you won't bother me. No. The end result is that this attitude is destroying society. And by the way, I will inject this. I will use a little bit of the morality police here. We're not good people right now. Christianity is on the run. As a religion, it's on the run because it's become complacent and goody two shoes, and it doesn't do anything difficult. It does, for the most part, doesn't do any different. It doesn't stand up to anything. It wants to go along to get along. It wants to recruit by being the same as everything else. I know that's a kind of weird offshoot topic, but it's in my brain because people no longer strive to be good people. They strive to be mediocre. They're told good enough is okay. Good enough is fine. And there are one of the reasons I was attracted to Tulsi Gabbard is because I can tell she lives a really disciplined life with the exercise and the vegetarian diet and her insistence on getting to those details. Her knowledge on a lot of topics. It really impressed me. It was one of the reasons that from a political standpoint, I said, wow, this is like a quadruple threat of a candidate. Democrats obviously don't want that. Republicans don't want that. Libertarians maybe should have tried harder to recruit Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard sees all sides to issues. She empathizes with people on the right and on the left. And I think she truly wants to bring people together and work together for the common good. However, there are some ideas, in my estimation, that she has and many people have that at the end of the day aren't going to move the ball down the field and make the common good show up any quicker. The best thing the government can do at this point is to hurry up and leave me alone. Hurry up and leave me alone. Just get out of my way. Just get out of the healthcare business completely. People want government-run healthcare or government-administered healthcare. Really? After the way the government just handled COVID? No, I don't want anything government-administered. I don't want Dr. Anthony Fauci or people like him doing anything that has to do with healthcare. Well, insurance companies are evil. Yes, they are. They are somewhat evil. As an entity, they're not your friend. But it's the system that we've created that allows the insurance companies to be corrupt. And rather than fix that problem, we've decided that we're just going to eliminate private health insurance, and your doctor, depending on what their opinion of this would be. A lot of them would probably leave the profession and so forth. doctors should be paid well because they heal people. They help people from dying. So it's, again, that's just principle. People always say teachers should get paid more money. Yes, they should, but they should be good teachers. This is the thing that we're missing. A McDonald's worker getting $15 an hour, you would say, well, it's a cost of living increase. Well, are they doing work that warrants a $15 an hour wage? There are people that are in the trades that don't make much more than that. So, yeah, there is some merit. I know the word meritocracy comes to mind, but that's not what this is. This is you learn a skill and you should be rewarded because that skill is in demand. You're a smart person, so you got a job in that field. You didn't go to college for a psych degree, and then you didn't get your master's, so you couldn't even open up a little office there to help people. But you thought, hey, if I go to this four-year college and party hard, see, the whole thing is breaking down. The education system is breaking down. People are finding out, oh, well, I can just homeschool my kids, or, virtual learning. Virtual learning, by the way, is kind of a disaster compared to like actual homeschooling. I won't say it's a disaster, but you can still get something out of it. But, you could save quite a bit of money on classroom and books and brick and mortar schools and so forth if you had a different approach. Imagine if you were able to keep that money and open up a little micro school in your neighborhood. Say you could reach out to parents in your neighborhood and the kids could all walk to one location. They could take turns each day if there are people available to help and teach them. Might actually be fun and interesting. And it seems like these school years, they have all these random days off because teachers have to kind of do paperwork or do some administrative task. The whole thing is broken. The whole thing is broken. So as we move toward the election, all of these things. This is like a giant tsunami. It's bigger than the perfect storm. It's a tsunami of violence, both from the left and the right, but majority from the left. Now what you're seeing now is the left has been pushing this for 6, and then they make up things like, oh, Trump won't leave office if he loses. I think Donald Trump would gladly leave office if he loses. I don't think he wanted this job to begin with, to be honest with you. I'm not sticking up for Trump. I think Trump winning was a fluke, and he's been in there, and he probably enjoys the back and forth. And this is a guy who's got a weird personality. And, is he mentally fit to be in the White House? Yeah, don't know. I do know that Biden is not mentally capable of being the president of the United States. And yet the Democrats nominated him, didn't have any convention basically to say maybe we should nominate someone else. They just did some ceremonial, socially distanced digital convention that nobody watched. They should have been thinking to themselves, we really need to find someone else who has the cognitive skills to be president. But that's how bad our country is right now. That's how stupid our two-party system is right now. And by the way, Trump's not a Republican, and the Republicans aren't Republicans. Most of them, or the ones that are left over as Republicans, they don't really have any agenda. They're just going on what Trump is saying and doing, but their party doesn't believe in a lot of the same things it used to, or you just don't know. You got like Rand Paul, who's a decent guy. There are some people in there, Thomas Massey. But for the most part, the Republicans are just a mess. And the Democrats are a bigger mess, if that's possible. And you got the Greens, and then you got the Libertarians. And again, neither one of those two parties is all that well organized. But the Libertarians, to me, I just decided it makes more sense. They're on the ballot. They believe in free speech. They believe in the First Amendment. They believe in the Second Amendment. They believe in the Fourth Amendment. They believe in the 10th. I can go all the amendments. I mean, the Libertarians were right there at the very beginning of all of this, or the beginning of their existence. And they had a better idea. They said we can combine some of the two parties. but really be their own party and attract from both parties. If you truly believe in freedom of speech and expression, and you truly believe that you have a right to bear arms and a right to say go to church without the government telling you you can't go based on a health mandate, I think the Libertarian Party is a good place. The problem is, because of the hysteria of this election, the absolute mind-blowing hysteria, it's almost as if there's so much shouting going on, and then there's this awesome candidate in the other part of the room. You're never going to hear about that candidate because they would rather, if you cover that candidate, oh, it's boring. This isn't going to get us views or clicks. This isn't going to bring in the ratings. We need to talk about the anarchy and the chaos and the violence. And by the way, you should be talking about violence in big cities. People in those cities should be scared out of their mind, and they should be moving to where there's freedom. Country is a big place. These other areas will begin to fill up quickly. But let the people, hey, people want to live in these places. Let them stay. Let them destroy them. See, this is the weird thing that I think Trump should learn from all of this is, if this is what they want, they have states' rights, right? Federalism, 10th Amendment, a little bit. So let them have what they want. Give it to them. Just say, if you need help, I'm here, but I'm not going to keep offering help for your city. That way it'll be an illustration. People can watch those cities as they literally burn and melt down. And the politicians who supposedly were empathetic to all of the chaos, they will come for those politicians eventually. This doesn't have any rhyme or reason to it, what's happening. It's basically, if you say, yes, I'm for you, they say, well, then raise your fist in solidarity. Do all these things. If you don't do it, they're still going to come and get you. You could be neutral, and they're still going to come and get you. So we're at a very ominous place, and we're in September. And I don't know if the United States will be the United States. Well, by the way, the U needs to just bug out. We're just states. We're the states of America. S-A, that's it. States, S-O-A, States of America. That's all we are. We're not united. There's no unity in these states. There are regions that are unified to some degree, but it's really weird because there's a hot spot here for unity, and then there's, in these cities, you can have a red state with a blue city, and the whole thing is a mess. It hasn't worked. Running these cities into the ground has not worked. It's not been a good strategy. Destroying the culture, making fun of common sense and decency and morality and self-improvement, all the things that were once hallmarks of this society, and there were things you used to strive for. All of those things are under attack right now, all of them. So how do you keep this going? And then you get made fun of if you bring these things up now. You get destroyed. Like, what are you saying to us? You saying we should try to work? Yes. Are you saying we should not expect the government to show up with help? Yes. Because even when the government says they're going to help you, they don't end up helping you. And they've had a track record. They had this thing called the Great Society. It's been a failure. It's been an abject failure. And the solution from the left is, well, you got to do more of it. You got to keep doing more and more and more and more, and utopia will arrive. No, human nature will not let it. This is a flawed system. But if you encourage people to at least try and not get involved in all these distractions, I guarantee you that there'll be a better society out there. It would improve for sure. But we're at a turning point where, look, you're incentivizing people not to be creative. You're incentivizing people not to produce. And what's the solution to that? So the producers end up being even more responsible, and they have to be the ones to lift everybody else up. And after a while, and this is why you're going to get that left-right conflict, or that work versus non-work, whatever you want to call it, producers against non-producers. And the producers, after a while, are going to say no. No. Very much like Atlas Shrugged, if you read that book. After a while, it's like, nope, sorry, I've floated you forever. You're a mooch, if you remember that book. And the mooch needs to stop mooching. There's no way around that. If you think you can just have this anarchy and rebellion, and then the dust clears and everybody is kumbaya, that ain't going to happen. Because there are people that are going to have animosity toward you, because they're going to look at you as destroying what once was. And I don't even know if if you got to go back a long way to find who and what we used to be, that wasn't where we have been for the last century, half century, whatever. I mean, go back to the Federal Reserve. I mean, I don't know. There's a point where this thing all started to slide, and then it slid faster, and now we're in a place where I don't think we can get back. And there are going to be a lot of people thinking, yeah, maybe I should move to Belize. Maybe I should take a look at some offshore paradise somewhere where it's a tiny little government, even though it might be Banana Republic or something. It's a tiny little government that just lets me be who I am and has a couple of rules, because we're in just ridiculous times. And this COVID thing is making it so much worse, because this is all just, to me, and I could be wrong, but I think this is a dress rehearsal for something much, much more onerous. But this is a pretty big deal right now. So I don't know how much more onerous we can get, but, fascism knows no limits. Marxism, and even just plain old garden variety socialism, which is just another word for communism. It's just a watered down, it's democratic. Yeah, you'll see how democratic it is when you start to tell people that you don't want to be involved with their scheme, their utopian scheme. And authoritarians should worry people way more than these conservatives who believe in decency and morality. Okay, you may not believe in you may be a libertine. That's fine. But the point is, there's a lot of wasted things going on, wasted time out there. People focused on all of these things, the baseball team and the horse race and the blue and the red. And at the end of it, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, because your candidate, say Trump wins, the cities will burn down. Biden wins. Nothing will change if Joe Biden wins. Nothing will change. Maybe some of the violence might subside, but it'll be back, because they'll realize this guy ain't doing nothing. This guy's just a neoliberal. He'll say things. He and his cohorts might say things that sound better to you than Trump, but it's going to be the same. You need a real outside candidate. That's why Joe Jorgensen. Just vote for Jorgensen. Vote. Try it. I don't know. I can see why you wouldn't, though, because you're too invested in being a part of history. I voted for Trump and he won, or I voted for Biden and we got that SOB out. Thank goodness for that. Good. That's just great. You wake up the next day, you'll feel great. You'll be lying there. And people will go back, hopefully, to their lives, and maybe they'll be productive. I don't know. Maybe the solution is just to elect Biden. Ew. So, and that's the extortion of all this, that you just elect Biden, we'll stop the masks and the lockdowns, and COVID will magically go away, and we'll realize that these statistics were overblown, and we've had much worse flus or pandemics or whatever. We've had much worse things that we didn't do anything about. We didn't have mandates. We didn't have lockdowns. And it's true. It's true. If you go through recorded history, it's true. Oh, but we're so much more smart and enlightened now. We're saving lives. I don't know. Wait till you get numbers on suicides and things like that, and drug abuse and domestic violence and depression, and you could go on and on and on. People dying of other things, waiting, scared to go to hospitals. Serious. I mean, just do some common sense research on this. The cure is way worse than the disease itself. In any event, I've rambled enough. This is a ramble video, and you may not like this video, but it's what it is. And I have some beliefs, and I've pivoted in a way which I guess has upset a lot of people. But you know, you're looking at a guy who's conservative on some issues, but mostly very libertarian. Very libertarian. You do your thing. Just leave me out of it. Let me do my thing. Whatever that is, you just let me do it. If I'm not into your thing, don't come at me and say, well, then your silence is... No, my silence is my right. My silence is my right. My behavior toward you is my right. As long as I'm not physically hurting you, it's my right. And I think there are too few people out there who recognize that and who are just out there wanting groupthink, wanting you to agree. Please hurry up and agree with me. I don't agree. Sorry. Next question, please. Or no more questions. I'm done. You're blocked. Goodbye. Anyway, that's my video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.